When we went shopping one time, she was like, they have the whole series here. I'm gonna buy the entire series because I can. And I was Hey everybody, it's Witchy, and it has been a long time since I made a video. And I'm sure you guys didn't miss the shaky camera. But it has been a long August, it feels like. Mostly because my August has been full of things that we've had to do, which is good, which is nice, this is fine. I recently had a family member be born, so that's exciting. And my birthday is actually coming up next week, so I also have big plans there. But I wanted to go ahead and get a video out because I hadn't in a while, and I thought about this because I've been buying books like crazy this month because, you know, it is my birth month. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna splurge a little. We're gonna splurge. So I did get me some books. And most of those books were for the challenge that I started doing, which is the alphabet challenge, where you read a book with the title of the alphabet. And I've been randomizing it. The first letter I got was R, which was Reverie, which I had done a review for, if you guys want to watch that. But I'm gonna go real quick because I do have a lot of books here. In fact, I'm gonna show you. I got a lot. I'll just show you when I go through. It may not seem like a lot to the average person who buys books all the time, but for me, it's a lot because, you know, I told myself, like, if I'm gonna want to do this, I need to be able to invest in reading more, and I need to be able to buy books that I love, that I want to read, which I'm excited about. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into all the books that I bought. And the first one is Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. By the way, I love his story writing. I have read the Hard-Boiled Egg. I heard that this story was amazing too. I'm a bit excited to read it. Look at that, that's amazing. Anyway, this is next on my list after, the next one was W, but after the W, I'm still currently reading this book, Watching You. I'm almost finished, by the way, I'm almost finished. I do have some little tabs here. Some of them are missing because they went inside the book, but I promise they're here. I do have a lot. And I'm gonna make my next, not my next video, but the video after the next video, this book review, because I should be finished by then. But it was W, and then it was K. But I do have Kafka on the Shore. I heard great stories about this. I just like his writing style. I think it's unique. And I remember I had watched somebody before who was talking about him, and they were like, somehow he always manages to end each chapter with somebody falling asleep. Like, realistically, not like realistically, but realistically, if it was like a full day or whatever, it makes sense that the person or character would fall asleep and wake up the next day or something, or, you know, whatnot. And it's but I think it's going to be amazing. I'm excited to read it. So this was the first book I got. And then the next book that I bought was Plagueland. I thought it looked neat. I love apocalyptic zombies, but it does have a virus. It's a virus. It's kind of like, oh boy, maybe I shouldn't read this the year after the C word. But it does look very interesting. And this book is by Alex Scarrow. I think I said that right. I haven't read, if they have any other books, I haven't read any other from this author, any other stories, but if they do happen to have any, I'll put like a picture up or something. But I'm excited because this is the next letter in the alphabet that I had gotten on the randomizer, which was Plagueland, which is P. And then this was another one that I'm super excited for. And it's Ink in the Blood by Kim, oh Lord, I don't want to mess this name up. Simjikul. I'm not too sure if I said that right. Read too much into it because this is the kind of book that I want to just go in without having too much knowledge. I didn't really read the back of it too much. I read maybe the first couple sentences and then I was like, I'm hooked. I want to read this. Once again, another series, not another series. I think this is a series, actually. Yes. it says don't miss the sequel, which is down here, Curse of the Divine, which I'm also going to obviously read that when I get that. So that so far those are the 3 books that I gotten for my alphabet challenge. I also got some other books just to read casually. This book I actually read back in high school. There's a theme here with some of these books. But I read this back in high school, and it's called The Dark Secrets 1 by Elizabeth Channer. She's the one who wrote Kissed by an Angel. My sister had read that book, and I, for some reason, can't seem to find it. We used to share books a lot back in the day when we would go to my dad's for the summer. I have almost all of her Nancy Drew collection, which I'm rereading, and I have another book series that she read that I'm gonna read. I'm excited about it. But yes, I've never read the Kiss by an Angel, but I have read the other parts of these stories. I read this one. Both of these stories I remember very vividly because of what happens. I don't remember everything, of course, but I'm going to go back and read them, and I'm super excited. The first one is about Megan. She goes to stay with her grandmother, her uptight grandmother, and she finds out some secrets, some different things. She ends up getting involved in maybe a love triangle. It says a potential love triangle, and I think it's exciting. I remember it very vividly. And the Don't Tell one is about another girl returning back to a town where her mother had drowned, and she kind of slowly uncovers what happened with that particular situation. I remember the ending scene in the book was just like, wow. It was a good, sorry about that. It was a good ending, good story, I guess. So I'm excited to read this. I bought this, and then this one. I don't know if anyone has ever really read this, but this is like spanking brand new. But it's Quarantine, The Burnout. This is book 3 of the first 2 quarantine books that I read in high school, and it's by Lex Thomas. I do have my gripes about this series. I'll rebuy the first 2 because the first 2 I got from the library, and I never really got them because I had spent forever searching for the 3rd book because I was like, I know it's out there. I just, for some reason, anytime I went to the bookstore back like when I was in high school, I couldn't find it. And then coming like this weekend, with my sister, I found it. And last weekend I found it, and I said, this is one of the books I have to buy. So I did. I bought this book. I'm a little excited. I'm nervous because I do remember the ending to the 2nd book, and I kind of remember what happens in the 1st book. A lot of stuff happens. This is basically the series, if you haven't read it, or if you're wanting to read it. Basically, it starts with, it's school. There's a bunch of kids who are in school who eventually had to be quarantined because of a kind of like a virus outbreak infection that was causing adults, I believe, a certain age of people to die, pretty much. They get the virus, they throw up, they die. And it hits the town at one point. And this particular school that all the kids were in had to get locked down and quarantined. And you follow the story of the 2 brothers, David and Will. David and Will, I think. Which the chemistry, I'll save it for a video because I was going to say the chemistry between the brothers is really great, but also like there's a lot that goes on in this story that there's a lot. Maybe one day I will do a review of the series, maybe. I have to see how I like this 3rd book or not. But one of the ones that I'm excited to read. And then the next book that I bought, no, I did technically buy it, but it was a date with, a blind date with a book. And I was kind of looking for something classic, not necessarily historical, but mostly classic. And this book is called Hotel du Lac by Anita Bruckner. I haven't heard of this story before. I read the back of it, and it seemed a little interesting. these aren't typically the type of fiction stories or stories in general that I typically read, but I'm excited mostly because it was a blind date with a book. They pretty much met what I was asking for, and I'm going to read it, and hopefully I enjoy it. It looks interesting, and I'm super excited to read it. And I did get this for blind. I've already said that like 3 times. And then another book that I bought that I was very shocked that I never read as a kid, especially in high school, because we had to read a lot of books in high school. Especially, anyway, there was a lot that we had to read in high school. And this is one of the ones that I never read, because I remember it was either this one or the other story. But both of these were both controversial, and they got pulled from school or whatever. And it's The Kite Runner. If I remember correctly, it was The Kite Runner and Catcher in the Rye. There are scenes in those books that are not suitable for kids. But I don't know what it is that happens in this book, because I've never read it. I've always wanted to read it because it's as I guess you would call a classic. I'm excited because, I don't know. I've always wanted to read it, and I think it would be okay to read it. So I'm going to read it. And then the next, another book that I totally did not forget to bring up here, that I had recently got. We got from one of my sister's clients, I guess. She works at a call kind of center area, and the nice lady was like, hey, you should come get some books. And we did. This is another story that I remember reading back in high school. I think I was 10th grade I read this book. And that's Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. I remember because we had to read it, I didn't like it because I was like, man, I feel like they're just making us read this because they're like, we don't have anything else to do, and we're trying to be more up there in, I'm trying to say this in a nice way, but also not in a nice way. Like, but the book is Ghost Set Watchmen. I'm excited to read this, mostly because it's, I'm almost certain it's a sequel to Kill a Mockingbird. Let me see. Yeah, Scout returns home from New York City to visit her aging father, Atticus. I'm excited for this because it's supposed to be like years set in the future, with Scout, which I always remember Scout being like an amazing, I don't remember. I might have to go back and reread To Kill a Mockingbird, but this is a story that I've been dying to read. This is the next one. And then, past that point, I have a series. And that series is by James Patterson, and it is the Witch and Wizard series. I currently have all 5, including the first book and the rest of these books. My sister, when we went shopping one time, she was like, they have the whole series here. I'm gonna buy the entire series because I can. And I was like, go for it. Like, yeah, go for it. I said, I remember reading the first book, which is Witch and Wizard. I read this back in high school again. I did a lot of reading in high school, let me tell you. I think if you asked anybody who I went to school with, they'd like, she was constantly reading books. Like, she was quiet and she was always reading books. But Witch and Wizard, excited because I love James Patterson, and this was the series that I got into after I finished reading Maximum Ride, and there's a new book for Maximum Ride that I thought about buying, but I haven't gotten it yet because I haven't prepared myself, because I know it's based within the Maximum Ride world, and it's a character, it's called Hawk, which I'm excited. I'm excited for it because I love it, and I'm like, I want to know what happens. Like, I want to know if Max and them come back. I want to know, because it's supposed to be like a little bit in the future, which I'm like, heck yeah. But I haven't prepared myself for that yet because it's supposed to be a new character. I don't think they're supposed to be related at all. which I have a little thought to it, but I'm like, maybe I'll keep it to myself until I read the book. But that's mostly it. Wasn't it very exciting book haul, but it was a book haul nonetheless. I definitely took way more books than I usually used to get, and you know, I hope it continues. I really do. I hope I continue to get more books. But anyway, if you guys, like this, you can subscribe or like the video. In fact, actually, if you have read any of these books, like feel free to comment how you felt about it, or maybe you have a review or something, I can watch it. Because I would love it. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that I would hope to keep doing, book calls and stuff. But I do have plans for another video. I'm super excited about it. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time.